Hello everybody, hope you're having a wonderful day, and today I would like to share with you guys a rather large unboxing here. The package itself isn't ginormous, but it's a knife, and it's coming in a box that is a whole lot bigger than I think any other knife packaging I've ever experienced so far. So I'm kind of curious why it is so large for what it is. Let's go ahead and get into this. We're going to be using the full-size Sebenza 31. That's what I was carrying today. Wonderful, wonderful user grade knife. Alrighty, and it's this little brown box. Kind of weird packaging. You'll understand in a second. Let's try to stay in that cut. There we go. All right, lots of packing peanuts. I think more than half this packaging was just for the peanuts itself. Come on. Jeez. Oh, there's, what is that? Okay, Schrade. Typically not a welcome thing on the channel because I don't really care for Schrade. So depending on what it is, it'll end up in a future giveaway. So good for you guys, I guess. This is a Bestech knife, and I bought it from White Mountain Knives. Now, this knife in general is not anything super special or brand new, but it's one that I fell in love with how it looked. I just never pulled the trigger on it because the type of work environment that I had at the time that this came out, almost 2 years ago now, I was working in grocery retail, and this is not the kind of knife you want to have, you know, in a store. We'll get into this in a second, but I'm curious to see what's actually in this Schrade nonsense here. So let's go ahead and open that up, kind of mess that up. Shaft 8B, whatever that is. What on earth is this thing? What? What is this? Oh, seriously, what the hell is this? This looks like a OTF. I'm surprised because, for those who don't know, I live in California, and I don't believe I can even have something like this. Is it ready to go? No, there's something in the way. What are these little switches? Yes, I know it comes with a manual, but I want to let my monkey brain do what it needs to do. So there's this, and then something weird is going on here. I don't exactly know. Okay, I am just a little too stupid. Okay, so let's see what this thing is. This is a Schrade OTF, and this will be not my first OTF to check out, but one that would technically be mine. Deploying, opening, and glass breaker. No. B is glass breaker, yeah. E is release lock. What is C? What does C do? Safety lock. So there's a release lock and a safety lock. But, oh, it was just, oh, we're live. It was just really tough. My weak, frail little boy hands couldn't muster up the strength to bring that down. It was actually really tight. That's just okay. But what is that? Why? This is a single action OTF. That releases it. But as you guys just saw, I manually forced it down. So I can actually overcome that little safety release thing. Okay. Is this dagger ground? What the hell? Oh, that's interesting. Okay. I don't want this, so someone will get this as a giveaway in the future. I don't like OTFs. I don't care for them. There's nothing really appealing about them. And then again, something from Schrade. There's a reason why it was a free knife. That's all I gotta say. But yeah, this is a single action Schrade. I'm assuming the body is aluminum. It is looks to be very poorly finished, and even the lines and edges of the actual case itself don't line up hardly at all. Yeah. I mean, it sounds cool. Little glass breaker. Caution, blade ends, or blade ejects. That really didn't need to be on the clip. Like, it's just, whoops. Okay. So I have to hold it like that and then reposition to, you know, do tactical stuff like that the tactical people do. Let's see how this thing, oh, you know what, before I put it in my pocket, let me put it back on safety. You know what? Yeah, even the clip is terrible. That's not a surprise. Okay, so when you pull it out of your pocket, you're in this position, and then you have to crawl up here, keep your fingers away from there, because that is there, and then you're ready to freaking go. I'm curious. Let's check out the factory edge. I don't have the highest hopes, but then again, I do have unnecessarily high standards because I sharpen all my stuff to its max potential. Okay. I mean, we got somewhere with that. Let's see how this thing that I've been using for today, cut a couple stuff at work with it. Yeah. There we go. Just had to catch one of those teeth. This is very, very thin paper. Hey, still works. Good working edge at least. Okay, so someone other than me will, I'm sure, enjoy kicking this thing around for what it is. I mean, hey, there's a safety. It sounds cool as it fires. There's a release right there. You could hear a click, and then you have to manually rack it or bring it back or whatever, and then you can go and fire. So it's not dual action, it's just single action. You can overcome it, but then you might start messing up some of the internals. Based off of who's manufacturing this, this is something I would probably not want to use and abuse, but I'm sure someone will enjoy this. You will see this hopefully in a future giveaway. Let's get into the star of the show, the reason why you probably clicked on this video. Very excited. I really hope they send me the right one, because there's another variation of this that looks damn near the same. And this, I guarantee, is a much higher quality product. We got some cool stickers here. That's awesome. If you guys couldn't tell, I like stickers. Ooh, nice, nice. I forget the name of this one, but this came out a couple years ago as well, and they were supposed to make a small version of it, but I guess it wasn't popular enough, so they decided to scrap the project. A little microfiber cloth, a little Bestech thing, some candy. All right, let's get to the knife. Oh, yes. It's a big boy, very big boy. Beautiful, beautiful. This is the Keen 2. I don't really know if there was a Keen 1. Maybe it was smaller for all I know, but I couldn't really find much information on it. The designer, I am not familiar with him, but I think he has a pretty cool logo. The tie side here, obviously it is a frame lock, beautifully milled tie clip. And a bead blast finish looks like. This side here is the shred carbon fiber. They also come in a different, I guess, not unidirectional, but the standard weave carbon fiber. All right, let's get this blade out. Oh, was I on that frame? Yeah, I might have been on that frame. Oh, yeah. Wow. That is a very, very handsome looking blade. Wow. The maker's mark there. S35VN. Good stuff. I can't complain. Not at this price. This is still now a rather pricey design item from Bestech. Bestech is known for having things cost a little bit more than what other manufacturers are able to do nowadays. That includes Riot, and then whoever is making Bosteed stuff, right? I'm putting them up there because have you seen some of the stuff that they've been able to do lately? Really impressive work. But as you can see, this thing is very, very easy to manipulate. And I'm sure after some time in the pocket and actual use, put a good sharpening on there, reprofile the edge. Let's go ahead and check out the factory edge. Get a piece of paper, not that floppy stuff. That stuff is a absolute pain to cut. I think it's a little bit more fair. Oh yeah. Nice, nice. That is a very nice factory edge. I'd expect nothing less from Bestech. Let's get this out of the way. Let's go ahead and weigh this thing. It is surprisingly light for how large of a knife it is. And we will do a couple size comparisons, not a lot, just something to, I suppose, visually stimulate. Remember, we got a full tie side. There are some large pockets back there from weight relieving. You can see back there. And then the carbon fiber side, of course, it's just solid CF. 5.3, honestly, pretty impressive for how big it is. Let's go ahead and get some examples out to show. We can use the 31 large right here. It dwarfs it, absolutely. The Keen 2 makes this look like a small. It's not. This is actually the full size. So that's interesting. We have one of my favorite budget knives out there, the Sencut Glide Strike. This is bigger than the Glide Strike. And just recently, probably the only reason why I was even able to afford to buy this at the moment was I actually sold a lot of knives out of my collection. At least to me, it was a lot. But I sold my Microtech MSI, and this is actually bigger than that. This is now the largest knife in the collection. Here is a Manix 2. No, this is not a mini Manix 2. That would be pretty sick if they made a mini Manix 2. Let's get a couple other lengthier examples out here. I'm just pulling out everything that I can think that makes sense. This one's kind of a lengthy one as well. The FM1, my cold steel, which I would consider to be a full-size knife. Yeah, yikes. That's not really a big knife. Civivi Vexillum. This is a large full-size knife. I would very much consider it to be. It's still smaller. Cold Steel Crawford 1. Yeah, looks like a mini Crawford. And And then last lengthy looking one. What is that? Oh, this is just wipes off. The Prado CGRB. So yeah, this thing is ginormous. This is no joke, but it is a welcome addition to the collection because now I can carry stuff like this. And yeah, you know, you do still got to be cautious about your legal blade length laws, but the law isn't something that I run into often either way. So just be cautious of the size of knife that you're buying. This is a beautiful, beautiful finish that they've applied here on the blade. And these little fullers right here, you can actually use them to deploy. Very easy. They've left them crisp, but not aggressive. I appreciate that. Attention to detail, I like it. The studs are aggressive enough. For the size of the knife, I kind of wish they were a little bit larger right off the bat. I kind of wish they were like the studs here on the Vexillum. If you look at them side by side, Civivi Vexillum has a much more comfortable, larger surface area for your thumb to deploy off of. The disengagement, super, super comfortable. No stick. I'm assuming ceramic bearings in the pivot. I will be putting skiffs in here because skiffs are just the best. Ceramic detent ball, if I didn't already say that. This looks to be, at the moment, and I can test real quick, looks to be all T8 hardware. We can check real quick. I know the pivot at least is T8. Yeah, T8. Let's do the... Oh, that's gross. T6s? Really? On a knife this size? You know what? Bestech is still pulling this kind of bullshit nowadays. T6s, they really aren't the end of the world, but on something this size, why wouldn't you just want to put something a little bit more substantial? So that is a little frustrating, but really not the end of the world. Bestech is still working with good materials. I have never personally run into any issues with Bestech's hardware. The tooling on the hardware, the threads, everything is very well executed. It really is just a preference. But at the moment, I think that's all I have to say about this. This video doesn't need to be too long. And yeah, I think maybe one thing I do want to say, and I know it's going to roll everybody's eyes right now, is the execution of the plunge grind. It is not that great. It's not terrible or disgusting, but it's not that great. It could have been a little bit further back. I'm curious to see where the stop pin hits. So you know what? The stop pin is actually right there. There's only one pin that this interacts with in the open and close position. I think that's really cool because it simplifies the overall production and design. The reason why this thing costs as much as it does is because this is a large freaking knife. So you're paying for a lot of material. You're paying for a lot of S35VN, a lot of beautiful carbon fiber, and then of course good hunk of titanium. And they didn't skip out there. They do have this little backspacer piece. It would have been nicer if it was a little bit bigger, but that of course would add some weight. Probably wouldn't recommend in this forward finger choil, but you know what? Now that I know that I can remove some material from there, I'm probably gonna cut in a nice deep sharpening choil, because on this channel, we actually use our stuff. We actually use our knives, we sharpen them, we push them to the absolute maximum slicey potential that they could ever be at within reason. So I think something like between a 15 and 17 degree edge would be beautiful on this. The stock thickness is plenty robust. And out to the tip, it is robust enough. You still don't want to pry with something like this, of course, but this is actually very comfortable in hand. I do want to be up here. I do want to be like this, because if I'm actually under a little guard there, the spacing and my fingers, it is a little awkward when I'm back here. But up here, surprisingly, I'm a lot more comfortable because this little hump lands between my pinky and ring finger on my right hand here. So yeah, I will definitely be cutting in a sharpening choil there immediately. That's, you know, one knock that I have against this thing. but we will see what else I have to say and, you know, bring to you guys in the near future. If you like this video, go ahead and leave a like down below. If you are subscribed already, thank you so much. I appreciate all your support and your patience, of course. If you are not subscribed, please consider subscribing, because I have plenty more videos and content coming you guys' way. And with that being said, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.